Today, we are going to take cylinder off the CR500. It's an inspection. We don't expect to find anything bad wrong, but we probably, with the horsepower these bikes put out, we will be putting a piston in it no matter what. Just, you don't want nothing going wrong. Retired welder, got one for you, buddy. You want to know how I did wedged small diameter trees with a bore cut? Here's what I do. I make my notch, you know, the type we make here. You can use it on a Humboldt. Bore cut right into your hinge. Get yourself, you know, 3/4 of an inch, hinge, whatever you need for hardwoods, a little more for softwoods. After your bore cut, if you got side lean, let's say I'm putting the tree straight toward you, you got a little side lean, it'll be this side. Bring your saw out, bring it right around, and leave a post on the tension side, not the compression side. Okay? Pull your saw out. Put your wedge in right there because you're adjusting for your side lean. If it leans the other way, do the opposite. That lets you get a wedge started on a small diameter tree. And then once you got that tapped in place, come right around from the opposite side of your bore cut and nip that back post off, and it's sitting on your wedge. Then wedge away, friends. Okay, first thing we're going to have to do on this video, Colin, we're probably going to have, let's see, 10 millimeter, 11 millimeter, 12 millimeter wrench. We got to take the gas tank, seat, pipe, the radiator guards. We got to take them off. So hand me a wrench or two.
I don't have any of them sizes.
Why not? Well, we got to have them somewhere. Get them out of my box then.
I don't want to go through it. Hold on. Yeah, let me see. I bought this digital wrench from Harbor Freight. I've been dying to use it. Just watch this here.
Well, that's not going to work.
Well, the TV said it was gonna, so what the heck?
Well, the first thing we got to do is take that side panel off.
Well, let's give it a shot then,
We'll
shall
do
we?
it. Let's do it.
Oh,
You got to be kidding me. How did that happen?
I know a few tricks. Don't you worry about it.
Wow. Try it on the seat.
Okay.
It ain't going to work on everything.
Well, I don't see why it wouldn't.
Well, let's
It's
try
digital
it.
by, you know.
There's no way.
I bought it at Harbor Freight. It's got to be good, don't it?
Well, what about this gas tank? See if it works on that.
Well, why don't you? Now, look, down there. See that?
Oh,
Try that.
the
Try
button.
Yeah.
I'm old school.
Look,
That ain't going to work.
Okay.
I told him it wouldn't work.
watch.
Wow.
See, you just gotta look right there, and then it gives you a digital indication of where on there you need to be. It's pretty easy. I mean, you know what I mean?
You believe him. This is unreal. Boy, this has got them desert radiators, extended range. These are big radiators on this.
That takes a long time to warm up, by the way.
Oh my goodness sakes, does this ever take a long time? Well, the only thing I can tell you, we need the pipe off. So, let's get the pipe off.
You want to try it?
I ain't doing it anymore. It don't work for me. I'm old school.
Works for me. Watch.
Well, do it. You have got to be kidding me.
This is gonna take no time at all with this wrench here. You know. Oh man. Dead charger died.
This is why you don't use stuff like that. It doesn't hold up.
Only when I'm working with you would it die right here. Then.
Old
Okay,
school's
whatever.
way, guys.
Fine.
Use your regular wrenches. This ain't magic, you know what I mean?
We'll do it the fun way.
Of course, I resisted cell phones for a lot of years. Computers, look where I'm at now, so what do you say to that?
Yeah. He's gonna learn new things every day, even if it doesn't work for you.
We're pretty piped about showing you these bikes. One thing, the other. We're going to show you another different view of this. Just keep watching. It gets interesting.
Stay tuned, folks.
We're right down to taking the head off. We already took the carburetor off. I'd like to show you something about these old key-ins. These are a flat slide. You can see down there, that's a flat slide key-in on these. But they're not little. They're not a little carburetor. That's quite a carburetor for a two-stroke. Wouldn't that be fun on a chainsaw? I think it'd be great just for riot. Okay, we're getting right down to. I'll show you the last little bits here.
500cc chainsaw.
Hey, let's build a 500cc chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who'd carry that.
Good God. Yeah, you have to carry like this whole motor with you.
Man, that thing would weigh like a frickin' McCullough or something.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much fun that'd be?
Oh, yeah, for about 10 minutes until you're wore out.
Let's just see a little wrench in here. Kill that light. Okay. Now you slowly remove the head.
There it is.
There's the head gasket. Like that up off of there. Wow, this has got a shim gasket on it. They use these shim gaskets to reduce compression because two strokes are not always best when they have high compression. Certain ones are, certain ones ain't. I'm not going to get into that right now. Shine that light in there and let's just take a look at what that cylinder looks like. And this will,
Put them in there. See.
yeah, we'll get you.
In there.
That's there. That's pretty good size old piston, ain't it? Right down in there. Let me see that. Well, we got some score in there. Okay, what we got to do now is we're going to take cylinder off. We don't need light there. I got a couple more. All two strokes, chainsaws, dirt bikes, have all the same principles. You'd be surprised how many of them have the same numbers, honestly. This bike's got V-Force reeds in it. We'll show you all that. They're a good reed. They're much like the old Boisons, but they V-Force does a lot with the carbon fiber reeds. That's why I like Buckets P38, stuff like that. These bikes are what gives us the real deal. We're not going to mess around with the old style reeds and leave them alone on the reed saws. We're going to do bike things to them, quite honestly. I got myself in a spot here where I can't use my wrench anymore, and your fingers don't hardly get it. Now these are in a transition year, just like my Mako. It's got disc brakes in the front and drum brakes in the rear. I guess the factory must not have been totally convinced it was a great idea to. Yeah, we're getting a leakage.
Peeing. If you wake up and pee blue in the morning, you're going to have to call the doctor, I think. Unless you drink a bunch of Kool-Aid.
It's got blue antifreeze in it. Now this bike doesn't have the magnesium case side, or not case side, but water pump housing side. It's aluminum. They learn real fast with the magnesium. You get electrolysis. All right, now we're going ahead and we're gonna try to get the cylinder off. We had to pull off that exhaust flange off of that head. Will it come your way or my way?
Tell me what you see over there.
Hold on. One of the keepers. Okay. We gotta get it off that piston. You gotta rotate that piston around. Oh, okay, down. Okay, now we gotta pull it straight off. There we go.
There's water in there.
Okay, we're doing pretty good, guys. Yeah, take a real quick look at this cylinder and I'll show it to you. And I'll show you a couple neat things. Kenzie, old buddy, if you're paying attention here, I'm going to show you something. I don't have to explain it. You're going to understand it. Remember I told you guys before, way back, bikes had a lot of neat things they did. In them ports. I'll get that where you can see it. See them two little notches right above them? You know what they're for, right? That's to let that just start bleeding a little bit of exhaust out before the port actually opens. Okay, we don't have a horrible cylinder here. Now what we do have to do,
Yeah, how many times has it been bored?
is we got to see if it measures right, which we're going to do that. The cylinder does not look bad. I see some minor scratches on the exhaust side. I expect that. It's from piston scuff.
Look at this. Crack, surface crack.
Okay. Something that I've already said to you guys that we worry about is these pistons and these CR500s don't last a long time. If you can see the cracks in that piston right there and right there, and it's starting to spider web around.
I don't think they can see that.
Okay, let me get the light from this side. There's several cracks right there.
Right here is where the crack is.
Yep.
See. I can get it where they can see, I think. Hold on, guys. Okay, give me a little less light.
There and there. And that's what comes up around. That piston was fixing to explode. Here's another thing is, look at them rings. See how sloppy them rings are? They're moving up and down. That right there compromises all your compression. Okay guys, we're going to wrap some of this up. We're going to show you a few things about bikes that transfers right straight away to the chainsaws.
Carbon fiber reeds in there.
When you have the intake driven transfers, they're not case driven, it goes right in the intake, you'll see the knots on the inside side. That can be altered and changed just a little if you need to. These bikes have some real issues because of the horsepower they get. They just produce massive horsepower, believe me. I'm going to try to get you where you can see what I see. Okay.
You don't see it.
Right there.
Yeah, they can see it.
All the way down around there. See them cracks? You see these little shiny spots? That piston was getting ready to come apart. That wasn't, 10, 15 minutes of riding from exploding. That piston wasn't. So that's how lucky we got with a rare cylinder. And your rings, if you see this where your rings really move, the ring land and the piston just wore out. See that? They shouldn't do that. They walk right around in there. They won't seal. They don't seal. Bottom end looks good. We've got some really good things going for us here. This is normal wear. If this had been being raced, this would have already came apart. It's surprising that it ran as good as it did, honestly. Okay, now, I know we've had some issues with some of them forum guys because their lack of knowledge isn't helping anybody. You know, they think just machine work alone, blah, 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 this and that. They don't know the numbers game. Now, I'm going to show you a little something. Do them transfers and the way I shape things look familiar to you guys at all? Yeah, they do, don't they? Because that's how I build chainsaws. You cut just like that. Looks nice. See, these are a little lower because it's a bigger motor. A lot bigger here. let's get the light on the intake side right here. You can see that. See this little tongue right in here? Okay, and a chainsaw, I do that here and here and leave that center alone so that it picks up off the bottom. See, this is a reed saw. It can handle all that. And it's triangle shaped right in here. And that's because it's a reed saw. The reed controls opening and closing. You got nice big transfers, openings, you really do. We're gonna run the numbers. We're gonna run the numbers. You see, from right there at that angle, you can see these little, down in here, there's a little spots machine so that it bleeds a little exhaust gas just before it truly, the piston clears that port. And then they did that deliberately. And it does help the engine flow. It helps it breathe. That's the whole name of the game, is getting it to breathe. Okay, the exhaust side. We have a petition. These are so big you can't take that out. Huh. What do you think of that, guys? Colin, are you happy?
I'm happy we pulled that piston out when we did, I'll tell you that. That just saved me a lot of work and a lot of money.
Well,
that would have been a bad ride, especially being down in the middle of the woods and then kablooey. You can't just change the spark plug then, can you?
No. Did you follow plugs with this one?
No, not with this one.
It wasn't following plugs yet.
Not ever. It started nice and easy though. There's your first sign, because they ain't supposed to do that.
Yeah, you could kick it. You could start it with your hand. Oh man, guys.
I don't think that's got 3 bores on it for sure. There's lots of material left on the jacket when you spin
I
it
got
out.
a funny feeling this is original bore.
Yeah, there's a lot of material left. Look at this here. What's this? The inside there?
Oh, that's a little shade for where that's where the window was. What Colin seen was the tan spot right here in the top. He wondered why that looked like that. Okay, that's because that's where the window of the piston, which there's the window right there, rode in that. Okay, now here's something when you see this. You can go in that area and just run your fingernail. I'm gonna tell you what, there's no wear on that cylinder.
And there's a lot of
It's
sleeves
stuff.
left.
Oh yeah, I got a feeling we're standard bore.
That'd be nice, I'll tell you that.
I got a feeling we're standard bore. Could we bore it? Yeah. Should we?
Not if we don't have to.
Let's clean it up. Okay, here's where we're at. Should we port it? What do you guys think? Colin's shaking his head no. He don't want it ported. He just don't know he don't.
Yeah, probably. I haven't ridden this thing when it's actually been 100%. He has in the ice and snow. By the time I got on it, it was already starting to go down. So
Yeah.
if it's anything like my YZ, but on steroids, it's going to be a handful just the way it is either way.
Yeah.
You don't use all the power, hardly ever. Little burp here and there. That's all you'll ever get.
No.
Otherwise, you'll be in a tree.
Yeah, you'll be up a tree.
Yep.
But when you see in relationship of the size piston to how big the transfers are, and these things putt and idle around, they're massive transfers. Don't be afraid to get your chainsaw transfers opened right up. And take that, you see how far they cut that down right here in this area? They cut that well below. I stay safe. I start out a middle or slightly below with most saws. But as engines get bigger, I'll go down a little further with this. It does promote flow. Same concept as with the chainsaws the bikes have. You're trying to aim that air fuel coming out of the transfers right above that intake.
These are still a little rough too. See that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Straight machine.
Yeah. Anybody that's rode these CR500s, I know that people think, oh, you got to port and polish. Don't polish nothing. Leave it rough. Let me see if I can get this. These things run like crazy. Look how rough everything is. Just rough. On the intake side, which you can't see, they are really, really rough. It's because they're true performance machines. There ain't, And then when you watch people who does port work on these, oh my goodness sakes, they're rough. They're rougher than I ever thought of leaving a chainsaw. But if you don't like how my cylinders don't look, but you like how the saws run, close your eyes, because every one of them look the same inside. Every one of them. That little P38 Bucking likes, if you guys think smooth is better, seeing the inside of that, you'd have a heart attack. You'd fall over graveyard dead. We got a story coming up, don't we, guys? This is the kind of stuff that I love. I love sharing this with you.
Sorry, you told me yesterday.
It's crazy. What one was that?
When you're down there with Junior Bennett down drag racing
Okay.
with the truck, because that's what we're thinking about doing, you know.
Here's the deal.
You're welcome. I just talked him into it.
We're going to give you a story. It's going to make
do
it a
it.
long freaking video, but you guys deserve one. I got one. I just got to get off my chest.
It's a good one.
It, over on the other side, we got that 496-inch Chevy motor that it's got big Dawn's roller. I mean, that's major. It's serious. No bull.
Well, it's only 820 horse. Don't go crazy.
It'll go to just a minor change, and it's 1,060 horse by putting the big Brody heads on it and going to a Holly Dominator 1100 carb or 1050. We run a 950 on a Percy's.
750 don't work.
It won't start on a 750.
It blows flames.
Well, I've drag raced a long time. Colin ain't never done it, and he wants to experience things his dad does because him and his dad's still kicking and having fun, and now it's his turn, isn't it?
Get her done.
So, let me tell you about when I was drag racing in Savannah, Georgia. I raced Division II, an HRA Winston Cup. You want to go back in the 90s or early 90s somewhere, you'll see my name in the books. You will. And I know some of you can look it up, but I did. I raced. I think I was racing pro at the time, and I ended up doing Super Pro. Well, old Junior Bennett run a Vega, and I believe he had a 427 in that Vega at the time. You know, Junior Bennett been drag racing forever, and old Junior, he's a good lad. If you hear Junior, hello, you bet he was a good friend. I loved you, man. All you guys that I raced with, I loved all you down in Savannah International Drag Strip. You guys were just wonderful. It was a lot of fun. Well, I showed up down there and went to work. And where I worked at, everybody drag raced, including the boss. And he let us keep his cars down to his shop as a mechanic at the time. Loggins was just terrible. So for about a year and a half, you couldn't make a living even if you wanted to. So, you know, you take a little job and do this and that. Well, I wanted to go down and see some friends I had down there. Well, I ended up staying for a while, and just almost 2 years. And I had this old 76 GMC pickup truck that I bought out in Illinois from a pig farmer. When you turn that heater on, you know what that smelled like? Smelled like barnyard. Well, it was a 3/4 ton. I built a big block in it. They had 454, and I went and built a good one. We went down there drag racing. Now, I drove this truck everywhere and drag raced it on weekends. And they had dual tanks, so it let me put the race fuel on one side and keep pump gas on the other side, just switch them at the tank. And then we'd uncork the headers and throw on the slicks, the wrinkle walls, and we'd go have a great old time. And I'll tell you, I remember the first time I put fuel in, I pulled up to the frickin' fuel truck, and there's this Georgia redneck, big old guy, got a little tobacco juice running down his lip, barefoot, wearing bib overalls, no t-shirt, hairy old, just scary looking guy. And I says, yeah, I want 10 gallons. And he looked, where's your can? I said, put it in the truck. He stopped, he grabbed that hose, he brought that back. You ain't put my gas in that trashy looking thing. It was a rusted fender flapper, I gotta admit it was. It didn't fit in where I was at with it. But I'll tell you what, you touch that sucker off in the water box and jumped right up and staged, you got people's attention right now. And that ran. I mean, it was not slow. Old Junior, his old Ford truck transmission went out of it one day. And he calls me up and he says, Harvey, you're going racing, right? I said, yeah. He said, you mind doing me a favor? I said, sure, what do you need? He says, can you pull my race car trailer with your pickup? But just an open trailer. So, yeah, sure, no problem at all. So we get down there. And I'm going, get my headers uncorked, get my slicks put on, one thing another. Junior over there in an argument with a man from Douglas, Georgia. And he come down there to show the Savannah boys how to run. That's what he's going to do. He's trying to ag Junior into a pretty high dollar bet on some racing. And he's going to shut him down because Junior is pretty well known in Division II. Junior says, man, he says, I'm going to tell you what. He says, you can't even beat my tow truck. He says, you can't beat that. He says, he says, you get by that, I'll go ahead and unload my car, but this time trial, so you know. And that's the way it went. Old Junior Bennett never told me what was going on. He says, Harp, he says, see that man over there with that friggin' 65 note? Yeah. He says, I want you to shut him down. I said, I can't beat him. I know you can. He says, you can. You know how to play the game at the lights. You gotta be an ice man at the light. Don't look at the other guy ever. Don't let him screw with your head. You'll lose right there. You're really racing yourself, drag racing. That's what you're doing. So don't screw up. Well, he didn't tell me what was going on. He says, now, Harvey, he says, the way the rules are, once a night, you can do a top fuel burnout. Once. You'll get away with that. He says, what you do is you roll that right in that water box. You light that up and you hit high gear and you stand on that and you blow right through them lights. Well, that old truck had 410s with positive traction rear. It was real positive. It wasn't limited slip. And I said, well, gee, you know, that's a little hard on stuff. He says, no, you ain't going to do it on wrong. He says, you watch in your mirror. Well, where they turned into the water box, there was a plywood wall there. He says, when I tell you wind it up, then you wind it. You wait. He's going to go, he's trying to burn you down. That's what he's going to do. It's 90-something degrees. I had a 4-car radiator. Had about 8 gallons of freaking water in it, you know, whole motor. And so I didn't have the problems of getting hot real fast at the line. Well, what them guys do is they'll play this monkey game trying to get the other guy to heat up and sit there so he doesn't run good. Well, that wasn't going to work for me. So Junior held me, and this guy's doing this crazy burnout, and the crowds are cheering, they're wild. And everybody knows this is a grudge race. They know it. And I seemed like I was the only one who was oblivious to what was really going on. I guess everybody knew that there was a $500 bill right on the line right there for that. And it might have been a little more than that, I think. But I know it was at least that much. So Junior held me. He's like, man, don't move, don't move. I'm watching him in the mirror. I hit the line lock, held that. He said, wind it up. So this guy's about done. He's still playing and doing his chirpies in the water box. Junior, I did what Junior said. I wound that sucker up, held that on that line lock. Boom, boom, boom. High gear. Went up about 6,500. And it hit 6,700. And I was thinking, oh, Junior, you know. And then he goes ahead and goes like that. So I just blew right. I stood on it then. It don't take much horsepower to freaking do a burnout stink when you're on wrinkle walls and in the water, trust me. Well, when I started to hook, I laid right on that, and I run that up about 7,500. Blowed right through the light, just 2 rows of smoke. I just happened to look off to where the grandstands were, and the people were standing up just to cheering, man. They're ready to throw babies at me. And so I back up. And this guy's playing this silly game. He ain't going to stage yet. You got 2 lights, pre-stage and stage. So I pull right up. I hit the stage light. And I shut it off. This guy next to me didn't know that. So he's playing a rump like he can't pre-stage. It took him another freaking minute. So he's getting hotter. Well, so I just sit there waiting for him. So he finally stages. I hit that key and it goes, wow! And you know what? He broke a cardinal rule. His head whipped over and he looked at me. He realized I snookered him right there. He knew it. And I'm going to tell you what, Junior told me this and many, many other people. I was the underdog, actually is what I was. I was way faster than I should have been. It looks as deceiving some days. So anyways, I fired that up. I just let that creep just a whisker and it staged. Well, the minute it stages, he's got to stage, which he did. And then the lights start running. And I never looked at him. I upset him bad enough. He looked at me. He should have done that. He blew it right at the light. I caught a 504.
That's almost red light right there.
Yeah, 504 off a foot brake. He's on a trans brake. And he cut a 710. 710 killed him right at the freaking lights. And I'll tell you what I gained, that was all I had. That guy coming after me like a freaking freight train. I got down to the other end. I was like, man, please. Some days you don't know where the traps are. You don't know where the finish is. And that was one of them days I wasn't exactly positive, but it, because all them lanes didn't make a lot of sense. Well, even when you're on wrinkle walls, you don't just let off throttle. The darn thing flop sideways around, going circles on you. You got to backpedal them so that the tires settle down because they gain height. It's almost like having another gear. He went flying by me, but I beat him. Well, I missed the first turn. He didn't. I missed the first turn. I took the second one. I went down, got my time slip, and I didn't think anything about it. It didn't mean that much to me. I when I said, yeah, okay, I beat him. I beat him by a fraction, but I beat him, and I shouldn't have. And the guy that gave me the time slip, he's standing there talking to me. Man, he said, that was one of the best races I have seen in years. He says, you did. He says, I didn't know that old truck had it in it. Well, I didn't either.
That's the point.
And, but Junior had faith. He had faith. So I pulled back in the pits. I couldn't even get parked. I had for 500 people around me screaming. I had to shut the truck off right in the middle of the pits. And I get out. Old Junior, he looked like Lucas style, just kind of that kind of look, really a lot. And he came up and he cried, man, I love you, I love you, man. Oh, he says, we're going down to steakhouse. He says, he's all of us. He says, I'm buying. He hands me $100 bill. I go, what's this for? Oh, I made money off your butt. I really did. He says, and then he told me what happened. He says, I told that man, you can't even beat my tow truck. Why the hell you want to race a real drag car? And he says, you know where he is right now? I go, no, where is he? He said, look out the gate. He says, he rolled right in, rolled right up in his fancy trailer, shut the door, and left. Goodbye.